Work folders. Work folders provides the ability to synchronize data between a device and one or more folders hosted on a file server. Work folders enables synchronization for devices that are either domain joined or non-domain joined. So for example, if a user brings their own device in, but they also work on a company joined device. Hence, it supports bring your own device users. You can control the behavior of work folders either by using group policy or through Control Panel. To set up work folders in Windows 10, use the following procedure. On a Windows 10 device in Control Panel, click Set up work folders. Enter a corporate email address or a work folder's URL. Define the local path for work folder storage. Review and accept the security policies. To set up work folders on a mobile device, such as an iPad or iPhone, install the Work Folders app from the App Store and then follow the setup instructions. For Android devices, install the Work Folders app from the Google Play Store and then follow the setup instructions. There are two group policy settings that are used to configure work folders. Specify work folder settings and force automatic setup for all users. In the demonstration, I'll show you how to implement work folders on two devices and how to sync data between those devices. So the first thing to do to enable work folders is to configure the required roles on this server. So I've switched to my domain control here. I've got a single server and a domain for test purposes. And I open up Windows PowerShell and I'm going to use the install Windows feature commandlet with the fs sync share service as the name. So that's now installing. Okay, that's all done. Minimize PowerShell. So the next task in Server Manager is to expand file and storage services and click the Work Folders node. And then under Tasks, click New Sync Share. It's wizard driven, so it's fairly self-explanatory. So if I click Next, it detects my server, says that it's online. Then I'm going to create a new folder on the server and click Next. It's confirming I want to create that folder. I do. I'm now going to use a user alias option to maintain compatibility with existing user folders that use aliases for their names, and then click Next. The name of the sync share is the same as the folder name by default. I might want to add a description in here. And then click Next. So here I want to define who can access the sync share. So click Add, and I'm going to specify members of a particular group, sales users, and then click Next. I can choose options here to encrypt work folders and automatically lock screen and require a password when accessing content. So I'm going to clear that option and then click Next, keeping it simple. A summary here telling me what I've asked it to do. When I'm happy with that, I can click Create. Okay, that's all done. Click Close there. And then back in the Work Folders node, we scroll down and we see that Claire, who is a member of the sales users group, has access. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to modify group policy settings to configure clients for work folders. And if I expand out the forest here, domains, and then I've got a sales OU, I'm going to create a new group policy object and link it to that container. And I'm going to call it work folders. And then I'm going to edit it. So if I expand user configuration, administrative templates, Windows components, a bit more room there, go to work folders, there's only one value, specify work folder settings, let's enable that, and then I specify the URL to connect to, and I'm going to enable force automatic setup. That's it. So now I'll switch to a client and sign in. Okay, so the next thing to do is to verify that group policy settings are in force. So I'll just run the command prompt tool and check what group policy objects are applying by using the gpresult/r command. So it shows me that work folders, that's the group policy object I created, is applied. So that indicates that the configuration is complete on this computer. So I'm sitting here at a workgroup computer. Let's just verify that. Right click this PC, properties, and you can see here CL1 is in a workgroup. So it's a different process for setting up a device that's not connected to the domain, because it obviously isn't going to be affected by group policy settings. So we'll start by opening up Control Panel, and then I'll search for work folders and choose Manage Work Folders, and then I'm going to set up work folders. Here I need to enter a work folders URL. And then click Next. Now we need to sign in here using an account in the domain, because this computer is not a member of the domain. So this is the folder where local content will be stored. I can change that if I want to, but otherwise I'll click Next. And then specify I accept these policies, and then set up work folders. That's now been done. And you can see I've got a work folders node here. And now there's no content there at the moment, but this is Claire's content because I signed in as Claire in that dialog box during the setup process. So let's set up some content. Okay, so I'll create a new text document and create it in a work group machine, or rather on a work group machine. Save that. And that content is now available and will synchronize using work folders. I've got options down here, for example, to sync now, and it says that that's all done. Okay, so let's take a look on the domain computer, see if that's synchronized across. So back on the domain computer, signed in as Claire. If we open up work folders here, we can see the work folders node that's been applied by group policy, and there's our document. So that was very straightforward. Group policy to set up the client that are members of a domain, and then Control Panel, and you click the work folders setup option for computers that are not members of the domain. For devices like iOS or Android, there is an app for work folders, and the configuration is very similar to what we saw on the non-domain computer member. In the demonstration, you saw how to implement work folders, and then how to sync data between devices.